Hey, this is Markus with WAK Productions, and I'm here with what I consider to be my favorite tattoo artist, Casey Anderson of Guardian Art Tattoo.
Yes, sir. Believing propaganda, falling for their lies. The elites have ruled the world, but now it's time for them.
What are we doing today on my arm here?
We're doing a unicorn, or we're doing a swan. Well, I guess it's a Faith No More tribute sleeve, right?
Yes.
So we got the I don't know what the album names are, but you could probably tell me that.
Yes, so basically it's going to be a tribute sleeve. It's got all four of the main album covers on it, or at least the ones that people typically care most about. The most recognizable ones here. We got Angel Dust, Album of the Year, King for a Day, and we got The Real Thing tucked away back over here. Now, one thing I've actually been curious about, obviously you got into very realistic portraits, drawings. Were you an artist before this? Were you just doing this stuff?
Since I could hold a pencil, really, I've been an artist since I guess probably 8. You know, like kids. You know, all kids draw. Not all kids keep drawing. You know what I mean? So I just kind of never put the pencil back down. And you know, my parents were always pretty. You know, what's the word I'm looking for? They didn't really push me to do it, but they were like, you know, oh, you're good at this. So, you know, very supportive of it.
When was the transition between paper to flesh?
Flesh, that was the winter of 2000, I think. So it's been 18, 19 years now. Kind of started in a little hole-in-the-wall shop. The apprenticeship was cut kind of short, to be honest with you. About 3 months. And kind of went and did the bad thing and tattooing out of my house and shit like that. Till I got into another shop probably about a year later. And that didn't last too long either. Then I went to a shop in Havre de Grace called the Inks Inn. Worked there for about 3 or 4 years. Till I started working for Poncho. I want to say it was probably like 08 or 09.
That's awesome. What about the, so you made the transition to open up your own shop. When was that, when did you decide to do that and why?
That was 2015, I think. So it's been 4 years now. And, you know, you work for so many people at that point, and, you know, why not be your own boss, you know? It's kind of like one of the coolest things ever.
That's awesome. And you have one official employee and one...
Yep, we got an apprentice, and then we got Mr. Wilson, Jesse Wilson. He was my last apprentice before Frank, and he's doing very well.
Yeah, his art is just as sick.
Yeah. And he's got his own style, which is cool, you know.
So I wanted to ask you about your band, ZFL.
Yeah.
You guys have a whole bunch of shows coming up.
Yep.
What do you guys have in store? You guys just recently did a CD release, or you were doing a CD release?
We already did that at the Frozen Harbor Festival.
Okay. How long have you been doing that?
In the band?
Yeah.
Oh. So before I started tattooing.
Oh, wow.
Actually. So.
How many albums are there?
Well, they had, I think, 1 or 2 before I got in the band, and they formed in 1996. If that shows you how old we are. I got in the band in 2000, like right before I started tattooing. And we released the first album with me in the band in 2001. That was called Looking Back.
How would you describe the music, if you had to put it into a genre?
Sepultura mixed with Kenny G.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Some of our, it's hard to say because some of the older stuff is very Sepultura kind of feeling, but some of the more newer stuff's kind of like a proggy thrash, maybe Lamb of God or Gojira.
And you guys just got a new bassist not too long ago.
Robert of the Vale.
How's he doing?
Sure, he's doing good, man. It's really cool to have a bass player that plays with his fingers and not a pick. I've never jammed with anybody like that, so it's pretty neat. Love you, Rob.
What's how long have you been playing guitar?
I started playing guitar when I was 13, 14 maybe. So I should be a lot better than I actually am.
And you're from Maryland?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Harford County specifically. I grew up there. Yeah, I grew up in Havre de Grace. So I was born in Havre de Grace.
And what were your influences? What were you
Band-wise, like...
Yeah. Or just guitar players in general?
I was like a Metallica freak. But I started learning like Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin, Jimi Hendrix, pretty much all this, stuff that you start off with. Any budding guitar player is going to start off with.
What was the first track that you remember playing or learning all the way through?
All the way through was probably Iron Man from Black Sabbath. Pretty sure, yeah.
What are some of your best memories so far of the in being in the band, as far as shows or opportunities and
well,
things along those lines?
If you remember anything, you probably didn't have fun.
I like that. I haven't heard that before.
Nah. Well, yeah, that's half of it.
He said no. Yeah.
We did say as far as not jumping the gun and answering a different question, but as far as accomplishments go, probably Knotfest. And we won it was called the Battle for Knotfest, and we won it at the Fishhead Cantina. So we drove from Maryland to California, San Bernardino, California. They gave us $1,000, which covered pretty much the gas. And, anywhere from 10 to 13 hour drives each day. But we got to open up for some of the biggest, heaviest bands, that otherwise we wouldn't be able to say that we opened up for,
Right.
Korn, Cannibal Corpse, Judas Priest. I mean, all these, Slipknot, like.
Wow, that's amazing. That was one of those 3-day festivals?
Yeah.
Back to the the realism and the tattooing. Where does drawing realism come from? Portraits and whatnot. Was that your goal, your desire?
As a kid, I started kind of connecting with realism ever since probably middle school, high school. I started seeing like Dali's work, and I'm like, wow, that's a painting? It looks like a photograph out of somebody's head that's on acid. I started kind of getting into that, and drawing friends in high school, like just sitting at their desk, sketching them out, like just sitting there, for practice. I'm supposed to be doing schoolwork. I'm like, fuck this, I'm drawing. So many people call these tat guns.
Yeah, my buddy hates that.
It's like, pew! It shoots out a little bullet or something. Yeah. It's like it's a machine.
That's exactly what he says. Yeah, I guess that's the thing, I guess.
It used to bother me a lot more. It doesn't anymore because I'm just, I guess, callous to people calling it the wrong fucking thing all the time.
So what is the big stigma with that? I mean, obviously, clearly it's not a gun. No. Is it just the fact that it's incorrectly being said?
Yeah, I think it's, everything else kind of has that, like a spray gun. You know, that's called a gun. You know, it's got a trigger on it. It's the fact that it doesn't really have a trigger. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that's why I always got irritated by it. You know, it's like calling a drumstick like a, I don't know, like a bone saw.
Right.
And you just hear people calling it a bone saw or something. It's like,
Right.
it's a drumstick.
Right,
Oh,
exactly.
and then they keep calling it a bone saw even after you correct them or something. Or like your foot pedals with the beater on it. It's like stepper thing.
Right, like the hitters or something.
Yeah, the steppers.
Buddy, I know another tattoo artist friend that he's just like, it offends him so much.
Yeah.
He cannot stand it.
Yeah, no, I see why. Like I said, it took me some time to get over the shit. Wilson, you are my man.
You want to pan it?
This is my dude. Hey, look good on you, man.
He doesn't even work here.
Who is that guy?
Yeah, he's the janitor. He's the janitor.
I was wondering what you guys are giggling about back there. Oh, there's Jesse's convention banner picture.
Does Jesse interview does he enter the competitions as well?
With his tattoos,
Sure. Yeah, I mean, because
he enters his tattoos in too. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's got some trophies. Yeah, he's won quite a few.
Have you done a bunch on him too?
I did a lot of tattoo work on him. Yeah. Yeah, the chest piece, the one sleeve, some stuff on his leg.
You were telling me last time that you have your heritage is rooted in like Vikings.
Yeah.
What's the
I still need to do a little bit more investigating on it,
Yeah.
just because the family that I could have kind of found more out
right?
about is dead. So I don't know, aside from actually going to Sweden or Norway
Right.
and finding relatives, or DNA tests or whatever. The only thing that I know is on my dad's side is it's all Scandinavian.
Right.
So my mom's side's mostly like Irish, so I kind of was always clinging to that. Over time, it's just kind of a neat thing to find out, your family and where they come from and where they've moved from, and never really got into the Scandinavian type stuff till a couple years before my dad died, and now that he's passed, I've really like clung to it.
Right.
Maybe because of that, kind of like it's how I remember him.
Sure.
Because he loved it, It's all he would talk about.
Right.
Like, even the tattoos I did on him years ago,
Right.
I had Viking stuff.
Right. You've incorporated a lot of the Nordic stuff into, like that one sticker you have for
Yeah.
the shop.
Yeah, the Vegisphere and
Yeah, that's awesome. Now there's to my knowledge, a decent amount of people that that have come out of Pennsylvania. Not only again the shops and all that, but have there been anybody of note that you've done a lot of work on or some work on?
I mean, other than Bam, I guess. Bam Margera. I tattooed his crazy ass.
He's not too far from here, right? How
No,
what's the distance, would you
he's
say?
like in, what is that, Chester or Chichester, Pennsylvania? It's like near Philly, I guess.
Right.
Tattooed Novak, his other buddy.
Right. A little bit of a shifting of gears. What I remember you had told me some stories a little while ago, and I guess you can go into whichever one of your choosing. But has there been any incidents during tattooing? I know people can get lightheaded. People can get, nervous and all that, tense up. You had some mishaps?
It happens a lot.
Really?
And one of my favorite stories to tell. He was kind of a young kid, you know. He came in with his grandfather and with a friend of his. Yeah, he's kind of being douchey about it, messing with his friend, and his friend gets pierced, does fine. Meanwhile, you know, the douchey kid's kind of making fun of him, saying he's going to pass out and all this shit. So this kid ends up getting his turn, gets the clamp on, you know, gets pierced, and I'm right next to the piercing booth, so I can hear everything that's happening. I hear this, "You all right, dude?" Thump. Dude hits the door and slides probably on his face, I'm guessing.
Oh my God.
So, dude's passed out. I hear the piercer yell for the boss, "Hey, Pancho!"
Kid passed out.
Pancho comes running back there, you know, with his with some water, a cup of water, and damp paper towel. They get him up, sit him down in the piercing chair, and I can hear I can hear Pancho yelling at him, "Hey, where are you at?" Finally, they get this kid like to come back around. In the meantime, I guess when he passed out, he had shit his pants.
I imagine that's worst case scenario, really.
So, you know, I could hear Pancho back there saying, "Man, what's that smell?"
My God.
Like, "Did you shit your pants?"
I mean, is there any way you can play that off? I mean, you can't. You're not Mr. Cool anymore.
I don't even think the kid cared. Like, you know. So he comes like, kind of like with his legs pinched together, waddling past my booth. I look over at him. I was like, "You all right, dude?" He was like. So he gets out to about the lobby, and there's some people out there, and my boss was like, "Damn, motherfucker passed out and pooped his pants."
Oh my God.
So, you know, if that's any indication of how quick karma can work, you know.
Seriously, if that ever happens to me, I need that footage. We need camera rolling if that happens. On the other end of that, have you had a lot of more sentimental, like meaningful moments? You know, tattoos that you've been super proud of because they've meant a lot to somebody.
I have tattoos that I'm proud of doing, I guess, but after doing so many tattoos, you keep picking your favorite one all the time, so you never really end up having a favorite one.
Right. And speaking of something to be proud of, I mean, I would consider it to be legendary, but you've got that Slipknot back piece that has made its rounds for sure. And if I remember correctly, I think even Slipknot themselves have seen it.
Yeah.
That's extremely impressive.
Clown, I think, got a picture of it at one of their shows. They were doing a meet and greet. They're pretty stoked about it. And I mean, if I was in a band and somebody had their whole back tattooed of me and my bros, that'd be pretty.
Oh yeah. No, that's an amazing piece.
I mean, as far as meaning goes, I mean, he's definitely, the meaningfulness of it is he's deeply rooted in music, and I mean, it's got to be his favorite band.
Yeah.
Better be.
Got to imagine, yeah. I'm excited to see how this one turns out. This one's gonna take a couple sessions, I imagine.
Yep. Just a couple.
Well, we're gonna let this one go. Did you want to promote anything? Tell people where to go to come check out Guardian, ZFL.
You can check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Guardian Art Tattoos. I'm on there as Casey Anderson Tattoos is my personal page. Jesse Wilson Tattoos and Wilsonator. What's the last part of your thing? Wilsonator 44 is Jesse Wilson's personal page on there. You can check us out at guardianarttattoos.com as well. That's where our information is for getting wanting to get tattooed or anything like that. So there's like an application or an inquiry form on there. The band, as far as the band goes, check us out on Instagram and Facebook and all that as well. ZFL Maryland Metal is, I think, our Instagram, and ZFL is just ZFL on Facebook.
Sweet, man. Well, I highly recommend checking out both. And again, I'm Markus with WAK Productions. That's George. This again is Casey Anderson. Highly recommend checking out his stuff.